Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Mikey Bustos here. Just wanted to bring you, of course, another video because we release videos once a day as part of my New Year's resolution to no longer ignore this YouTube channel. Um, Today I wanted to talk about prehistory. Now, I'm actually reading this book, just kind of started, and it's called Shadows of Forgotten Ancestors by Carl Sagan and Druyan. And it basically is kind of like a breakdown on the history of the Earth. Now, it really just occurred to me how old the Earth is. Now, humans, okay, we live our lives and it's long enough, obviously. And most of us can't even go past, say, like 4 or 5 generations back, like into our ancestry. We don't know their story. We don't know our great 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 grandparents, what they did, where they're from. It's like that's all kind of lost. And now, when we think about early men, like I guess we can call them cavemen, that's like that's only a 100,000, 200,000 years ago. It's I mean it's a long time ago. Now the Earth is, where's the age of the Earth? It said here the age of the Earth. Was it a trillion? Several billion years? Oh man, I probably should have tabbed this, but the Earth is so old. Now, when people think like when people think prehistoric times, they think of museums and, like dinosaur bones. Forget all you know about fossils and dinosaur bones. That's just a glimmer of the fauna that life has ever supported. I mean, over billions of years, this earth has been home to so many different kinds of creatures, that have died off eventually, blah, 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 all of that. And given rise to new creatures. So it's really amazing, when people think about the Earth in its past. I find it's very simplified. When people say, yeah, yeah, the prehistoric ages, but prehistoric ages spans like a huge, vast time period. I remember them saying that humans. Oh, there goes my BlackBerry. Uh, Yay, a sale. Ooh, to Quebec. Sorry. Um, and uh, what was I saying now? Oh yeah. Um, so it's a huge, time span, and I don't know. I just kind of was reading and just realized how old this Earth is. You know, it's been home to human-like creatures, different civilizations, and there are actually channelers, like, I guess metaphysical channelers that say that there have been even like reptilian civilizations that kind of resemble man, you know, um, that have roamed the planet. And I mean, we don't know for sure exactly what happened throughout Earth's history. There could have been so many things that this world has, given rise to. Humans are such a tiny, tiny speck. Now I remember what I was going to say. Um, I remember when I was a kid, they used to say that humans, if the entire calendar was all of the Earth's history, humans appeared in the last 2 seconds of December 31st. Um, which is so small, and there are certain reminders today, that kind of like remind me of how vast and diverse and rich a history the Earth must have had in the past. Now, not very many people know this, but you know how in school you're taught that mammals give, they're warm-blooded, they nurse their young, they give birth to live birth, etc. Well, we have the eutherian mammals, which is us. We just give birth to our live young. And then there's the marsupials, who also give birth to live, but it's kind of like a pre-developed baby, and then it crawls into a pouch, and then it grows, and then it comes out, like kangaroos and stuff and koalas. They're a different branch of like mammals. But did you know there's another branch of mammals that exists? There are, and they're called monotremes. It's not in this book, but this is like something I remember as a kid. They're called monotremes, and they're mammals, but they lay eggs. And the monotremes encompass like echidnas. I don't know if you guys know what that looks like. It basically kind of looks like a porcupine with like a big nose. Look it up on Wikipedia. Um, it's called an echidna, Echidna. And also a platypus. Platypuses lay eggs. Isn't that amazing? So, yeah, there was that. There's another lineage of mammals that, are still around, and they've been around, and they're kind of secluded. A lot of the marsupials and these monotremes are secluded in Australia, which, of course, um, is its own little section island, so it's got a whole bunch of really unique fauna. Um, and that's really cool. And apparently, there were other kinds of mammals as well that existed and roamed the world in the Earth's past that um, were different from eutherian mammals and marsupials and the monotremes. There were several, but I guess they died off and they became extinct. Now, it's also kind of like given me a new perspective too on speciation and the dying off of species. Now, I probably might get in trouble for this, but of course, it is always tragic when a species goes extinct, you know, for whatever reason, especially if it's because of humans. Um, but I also think about new species that are being created, at this moment in all places of the world, um, and thinking about all the species in Earth's rich past that have also passed away and become extinct. And I almost feel like extinction um, and creating of new species is actually part of an ongoing process. And even if you look at it from the perspective that it's humans' fault that, say, the dodo bird became extinct, well, I mean, humans are a real entity. We're real animals on this earth. And in reality, all other animals have to contend with us, just as we have to contend with other animals, and how we all have to contend with environmental, conditions and obstacles and all of that. And so, I mean, as much as people like to treat humans as if they're not natural and we're not living naturally, we still are kind of part of the natural world, even though we have technology and, we hunt seals, and we screw up different parts of the environment, we are still entities on Earth. So, and lots of animals have been able to adapt to the presence of humans. And in fact, a lot of animals depend on humans. One example that comes to mind right now are pigeons. Pigeons are also known as rock doves, and they're originally from Europe. And they were introduced to North America. They naturally live on cliff sides, but they've adapted to the city life. They've adapted to living in urban areas, buildings and bridges and stuff. They pretty much resemble cliff sides, so that's one example of a species that's been able to, adapt to the presence of human beings and all of that. So I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling on now. Anyways, back to the topic on the age of the Earth. Yeah, very, very old, and very amazing too. Like how the Earth was formed. You know, the collapsing of uh, materials when the sun was born, and the, you know, the crashing together of what were called worldlets. So, anyways, I recommend this book, Shadows of Forgotten Ancestors, to everybody who's curious to learn about the Earth and its history. This is Mikey Bustos signing out. Thanks.